Hey ladies and gentlemen, it is Tyler Thunderflame here, back with another video. It's been a while, but we're here with the best level 180 storm stats. The best possible, really, the min-maxed god. This is my storm god right here. He gives me money, but I'm here to show you the best stats on a storm 2025. So this is my main set here. Now you may be like, what the hell is this guy using? He's not using a Gulcher, he's not using the Chompy Bronto. What is he doing? Well, you'll see. So let's look at the stats first of all. We got max damage 275, exactly 275. We hit the cap perfectly. And no need to go above it. 36 resist, 41 accuracy, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we have 1,000 crit and 40 pierce. This is pretty much the best you can possibly get with getting max damage while also getting high pierce without using the Chompy Bronto set. Realistically, you don't need to use the Chompy Bronto set bonus anymore, because this is arguably better if you want to count the 1% damage better than the 1 or 2% pierce. Well, let's take a look at what I'm wearing. First of all, we have the hat, the Shocking Abomination Crown, which is the Darkmoor level 180 gear that you can either craft or farm for as a drop from the final boss, Baylor, whatever his name is, which is, the drop rates are awful from that boss, so I don't really ever recommend farming that boss, but you can also craft it, but the crafting, is easier in my opinion, but it's more time consuming, but at least you know that you're guaranteed to eventually get what you want, rather than just wasting your time and getting your hopes up farming the final boss. Though a lot of people do seem to race to farm for the reagents to craft this gear, so it might not be too easy to craft this. But luckily I was early to this, so there wasn't a lot of people that were even level 180 when I crafted all the gear. But yeah, this is obviously the best, and the pins is completely optional, but you definitely want to put a good resistance jewel on there. That's completely, I think, necessary. So you want to have like probably a Firestorm or Myth jewel for resistance on there. I have a fire jewel. Next we have the aggressive traveler overcoat for the robe. This is from the Marleybone Motorist pack, so this is pay to win. It's level 170 gear, and it's still the best robe for pretty much every school for damage. So it's the highest damage and best robe in the game still to this day. If you want to be a mid-max as possible, gamble for this. The robes do drop a lot. I think it's worth it. For the boots, we have the Shocking Abomination Stompers, another Darkmoor level 180 gear. Like I said before, you can just craft this, just like the hat. It's also dropped from the final boss. Drop rates are shit, so just craft it. For the wand, we have another Shocking Abomination Darkmoor level 180 wand. And this is also dropped from the final boss. So literally all the best gear from Darkmoor drops from the final boss, or you can just craft it. So, but this time it's a little bit different. I actually do not have the best jewel possible for this. The best tier jewel is the 155 health jewel from like Mr. Crane from Wallaroo or whatever. So I am missing out on like what, 10 health. It's not the biggest deal ever, so I just don't bother to go farm for it. I just don't think it's worth it. You can just buy these jewels from like Wallaroo or Darkmoor, so there's no point in actually farming for that extra 10 unless you really want to be as min-max as possible and you're like, I need to get that like what, 10, 20, 30 extra health. Like it really isn't going to be a huge difference. Now we're switching it up though. We have the Athame, and this Athame is from a Horde pack, the Fantiful Fairy Horde pack 2, I believe is what it's called. This is the arguably best Athame in the game. The Shocking Abomination Athame is slightly better in terms of getting you a little bit more health, but that's pretty much it. So there's no point in going for or crafting it. You can either use this or the Abomination Athame. 17 damage, you got the two 11% damage jewels on it. Health you can change a little bit, but that square jewel is probably the best you're gonna get. And same with the amulet. We have another fairy Horde pack amulet, and this is the best amulet in the game. It gives 7 universal resist, nearly 500 health, and it comes with a circle and triangle socket, which is the big part there. The second best is arguably this. In terms of how much health and the similar resist it gives you. Technically, it looks on paper better, but if you look at the sockets, it's worse because, square jewel is just going to give you health or resist. And triangle, obviously you could put the accuracy or power pip on it, but the square jewel is the main concern here because you definitely want to have that 11% damage for Storm. This is arguably the best for other schools, like tank school. You probably want to go for this because you definitely want to put some resist or health on there, but you're a hitter on Storm. There's no point getting rid of 11% damage for health. Next, for the ring, we have another Shock and Abomination ring, Darkmoor ring. This is dropped from the Sister Sanderson side boss. Very easy farm. It's also one of the best farms in the game, in my opinion, just because of how much good shit it drops. Because it drops legendary socket wrenches, which is also going to be very beneficial for you because these are hard to come by. Usually they only drop from like gold skeleton key bosses, and you obviously need these to break the sockets or unlock the sockets for all of the highest level gear. And this boss that you farm for this ring drops those quite a bit too. So not only does it drop the best rings in the game, it drops the best socket wrenches. So it's a really good farm. Obviously, we have like the similar jewels on it as well. You can also craft this, but I think it's an easy farm. There's no point. Then we get into the hotness here. We have a different pet here. It's not a Frillasaur. It is a Thunderbird because it looks cool. I mean, look at this stitch, dude. I am matching. I got a fucking, like perfectly matches. I look sick. This is a cool fucking stitch. But for the pet, we have a double pierce pet here. So instead of Boon and Painbringer, we replaced it with Armor Breaker and Armor Piercer for 6% pierce on this pet. And it's still max stat, it's max everything, max pierce, and we still get up to max damage for the damage cap. So that's why I think this is the best pet you can possibly get at the moment for Storm, because it gives you that high pierce and high damage. So obviously you want Mighty, you want Pain Giver, Storm Giver, Storm Dealer, Armor Breaker, Armor Piercer on it. Obviously you have other pets, Champ for example, if you want some resist, and of course my all damage or potentially mostly all damage Frillasaur, and even like a crit damage pet if you really desperately want crit, I guess. And then for the mount, I'm using the Clockwork Courser mount, which is from the the Cuckoo Clock Gauntlet bundle, which I guess occasionally returns. So this is a very pay to win, I guess, and really under very certain circumstances to achieve. But there is other Pierce mounts you can get in the game, so this is not the only one you can get. You have the Festive Fox that gives 1% Pierce. It's not as good as this, but hey, there's some Pierce for you, which will be available during probably this December. You have another bundle mount, which is the Vulpine Avenger Fox mount, which is the exact same as this, so that's another option, but that's also from a bundle. But I think overall this is the best since you can actually dye this mount, so you can pretty much use it for any school and it will kind of match a little bit at least. So yeah, I think this is the best. This is the best mount in the game. I think it's better than the Chompy Bronto Primeval set bonus, and I think it's better than the Storm Gulcher, even though you get that 3% damage. Obviously, it's not necessary when you already add damage cap. And then for my deck, I have the Fierce Dream Reaver deck. There is a better deck you can craft, but I just don't think it's worth it just for the extra 20 crit. And I think the spell that it comes with is better, so that's why I use this. But if you want to be a little bit more min-max, you can go for the Shock and Abomination deck. But it's not worth it in my opinion. It's just a little bit more crit. You're still at 95%, so it doesn't make a difference. Now yeah, you may be wondering, why am I not using the Chompy Bronto Primeval set bonus? Because obviously with my current stats, I only get more damage. I lose Pierce. Now yes, I can remove one 11 jewel, though it will put me at 274. Let's take a look at that. So if you do remove, one 11% damage jewel for a 6% Pierce jewel, you do lose a bit of damage. You're no longer max damage. Though, obviously, you get more Pierce, you get 41 to potentially 42, but because my pet doesn't have max agility, my Armor Breaker is 3% instead of 4%, so, realistically, you could get up to, 42% Pierce, but that's only 2% better than what I previously had, and you're losing that 1% damage, so I'd rather go for the 1% damage than 2% pierce, but that's totally up to you. Now, after the damage cap is lifted, the Primeval set bonus will eventually probably be better again, but currently it isn't. So that's why I don't use it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. These are the stats. This is the best stats you can possibly get on the Storm. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Tyler Thunderflame out. Pussies. Fucking bitches, bro.